is a very important topic, and everyone will be interested to know the skills or other things we know to become a medical writer, or we can say the competent medical writer, right? I think someone is opened their chats, or can we mute themselves? Mm,
Yeah, now it's better.
yeah, I'll mute them. Okay, so I'll tell about Shivanika. She is working as a senior manager medical writing at Kynaps, and she has more than 12 years of experience in medical writing. So she has a very good profile. Her experience include working on regulatory documents like CSRs, narratives, and public disclosure synopsis in various therapeutic areas like oncology, CNS, endocrinology, and gastroenterology. She worked as a primary author in CSRs, in PDS, and also performed quality control and quality assurance on their results. She provided on-site support to the global clients and aided them in developing various strategies around their process improvement. At Kynaps, her responsibility include review of regulatory documents, project management, and people development. Prior to working in Kynaps, she worked in a SMO Excel Life Sciences as a clinical research coordinator, and later on moved to training, where she also developed various training modules on ICH GSP. She completed her bachelor's in medical microbiology and master's in clinical research. Over to you, Sivanika.
Thank you, Dr. Rajiv. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. And I hope that you've enjoyed the workshop so far. So my name is Shivanika Soni, and today I'm going to be taking the topic, how to become a competent medical writer. So I think Dr. Ajit has already given an introduction about me, but still I would like to go ahead and tell you a little bit about myself. So as you all know, my name is Shivanika, and I've got around 12 years of overall experience in pharmaceutical industry and clinical research industry, and about 9 years of experience in medical writing. Currently, I'm working as a senior manager in Kynaps, which is now a part of
Sivanika,
Syneos
sorry
Group.
for interruption.
Yes.
I think your video is not coming, right?
Oh, 1 second. Let me just check. Sorry about that. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So really sorry about that. Okay. So
No, again, I think we are missing that. Wait.
Is it
Yeah.
fine now?
Now it's fine. Yep.
Okay, great. So back to the presentation. So I'm currently working as senior manager in Kynaps, which is now a part of a bigger group called Syneos. Now Syneos, just to give you a little bit introduction about Syneos. So Syneos is basically a fully integrated biopharmaceutical organization, which includes a CRO as well as a commercial wing. So it's a very big organization, and it's got about 26,000 employees worldwide. So during my stint as medical writer, I got a chance to work as a primary author for various clinical study reports and public disclosure kind of synopsis. And I also got a chance to work with key decision makers in the industry, like clinicians, statisticians, pharmacologists. And then I was also involved in performing the quality checks of CSRs, narratives, PDSs, basic results. And then in one of my other projects, I was required to support one of our global clients to develop strategies around their process improvements. Got so many things to learn out of that project as well. And then I was, for a little bit, I was also a part of medical information project where I used to create global response documents for the clients. Now my current job responsibilities at Kynaps includes project management, people development, and business development. But I do sometimes, as in when I get time, I do sometimes take up review of regulatory documents. So that was about me. And now, okay. Just to give you an overview of the topics that I would be presenting. So I'll be taking up medical writing, the spectrum of medical writing, the roles of medical writer in medical writing, then who hires these medical writers, requirements for becoming a good medical writer, and finally, key attributes of a medical writer. And of course, in the last, I would be happy to take up any questions that you all might have. Now, before I start my presentation, I just wanted to let you all know that, my presentation is focused mainly on the regulatory medical writing. That's because I have a background of regulatory medical writing, but I have broadly tried to cover the other types of medical writing as well. All right. So what is medical writing? So it's basically an activity that focuses on scientific documents and communicating clinical and scientific data in various formats. Now, there are primarily four types of medical writing. The first one is regulatory medical writing. Now, this is the type of medical writing wherein we write documents that require submission to regulatory authorities. Like FDA, European Union, MHRA, etc. Then the second type of medical writing is scientific writing. Now, this is the type of writing which involves preparing manuscripts, abstracts, posters for journal publications. And also, we kind of create slide decks to be presented in scientific conferences and symposias. Then the third type of medical writing is medico-marketing writing. Now, this is the type of writing wherein we write documents about drugs, specifically about drugs, devices, and biologics for healthcare professionals. The example of this type of writing could be, the presentation or the decks or brochures that the sales representatives use when they go to the healthcare professionals to market their drugs. Then the last type of medical writing is academic writing. In this type of medical writing, we mainly write books or theses for academic purpose. Now, let's come to the spectrum of medical writing. So we can say that, the medical writing is broadly divided in regulatory medical writing and the medical communications. Now, the regulatory type of medical writing is very regulated and structured, whereas the medical communication is somewhat less regulated and very creative. The examples of regulatory medical writing could be writing protocols, clinical study reports, patient safety narratives, PSURs, DSURs, and various modules for regulatory submissions. And the examples for medical communication documents could be, the conference abstracts, posters, manuscripts, slide decks that are to be presented to scientific conferences, newsletters. Any type of promotional material would also be a part of medical communication. And then there's also a patient education material, and it could also be teaching material for physicians and for sales reps. Now let's talk about the roles of a medical writer. So a medical writer generally works with the researcher to present the research data in a given format for a specific set of audience. And the person has to make sure that the documents comply with all the regulatory, journalistic, or other guidelines in terms of content, structure, and style of the document. And the medical writers, they create documents that accurately and clearly express the result and outcome of the research. Now, who hires these medical writers? Now, it's not just the pharma organizations, big pharma companies that hires these medical writers. These medical writers are also required to work in other settings like clinical research organizations or KPOs, that you call it, the knowledge process outsourcing organization. So CliMed was earlier a KPO. then healthcare websites, healthcare communication companies, medical communication agencies, scientific content companies. So these are also the organizations that require medical writer. Now let's talk about the requirements of becoming a good medical writer. So in order to become a good medical writer, we have to have familiarity with medical concepts and terminology. So an academic qualification in life sciences could be of great help. So if you are a life science graduate in pharma, microbiology, nutrition, and you like medical writing, then it could surely become a profession for you. Then you should also have the ability to write and interpret the results. And a medical writer should also be able to communicate scientific information to the target audience. Now, these were the general requirements of becoming a medical writer. Now, in addition to these general requirements, we also have to have strong domain knowledge and language skills in order to excel in this profession. Now, let's see what are those. So let's first talk about domain knowledge. And the first and foremost thing that comes in domain knowledge is medical and therapeutic area knowledge. Now, since the medical writer communicates scientific information related to the medical field, it is needless to say that he or she should understand the medical terminology and concepts. Now, writing technical documents related to specific therapeutic area like gastro, cardio, neuro, it can be greatly facilitated by knowledge of that person in the field. Now, since medical writers seldom work in a single therapeutic area, so it may not be possible for them to have a prior thorough knowledge of each therapy area. So I think so it would be a good strategy to have basic knowledge of different medical specialties and then build upon that as one goes on writing document in different therapeutic areas. Then comes the drug development process. Now, it's also very important to understand about the drug development process. So we should know what all phases are there in clinical trials. So how is drug first invented in laboratory, and then what are the steps that are required for the drug to then hit the market, etc. The next is pharmacology. So a medical writer also have to have a grounding in pharmacology and a good understanding of pharmacokinetic concepts, because in some studies, we have to write pharmacokinetic results as well. So a knowledge of pharmacokinetic concept may come handy there. Then the next is drug safety. So writing safety reports, and like in order to write safety reports, we also need to understand the drug safety process and the requirements of safety reporting prescribed by different regulatory authorities. So the knowledge of drug safety, therefore, is also important. Then the next area in domain knowledge is statistics. Now, medical writers, they come across statistics when they write about the results of clinical trials. So the statistical results of clinical trial must be communicated in a manner that allows the clinicians to assess critically the quality and readability of the study design. So every medical writer has to deal with, confidence intervals, the p-values, the randomization schemes, etc. So therefore, the basic understanding, I'm not saying that you have to have a strong knowledge about statistics, but a basic knowledge of statistics would therefore come handy and would be required. Last but not the least, technical guidelines. So EU, European Union, US, and Japan have evolved a set of common guidelines. Now, these guidelines are called ICH guidelines. These are related to drug development and registration. And in addition to that, the national regulatory authorities also have their own specific requirements. So one have to have good knowledge about these guidelines as well. So just to give you an example, so in order to write a CSR, we would need to use ICH E3 guidelines. So similarly, in order to write a periodic safety report, we need to have an idea about ICH E2C guidelines. So all this information is available in Google, and you can just go through it, and it would be helpful to understand the technical guidelines as well if you want to take up medical writing as a profession. All right, so now let's talk about general knowledge. So it's also very important to have a good command on English language. So knowledge and grammar, language and grammar, they are very important. So we need to know as a medical writer to use that it's very important to use grammatically correct sentence. So we need to use very simple and short sentences. And then we should ensure that we are writing in active voice with appropriate punctuation mark. And there's a logical flow of ideas that is going in the study. So all this can go a long way in making the information understandable to the readers. And we should also avoid the use of highly complex technical jargons in order to make the writing more lucid. Then the next is literature and scientific searching. So a huge amount of scientific information, as you all must be aware, is now available in the public domain. There are various search engines or databases called PubMed, Embase, Micromedex, which are now commonly used for sourcing medical information. So you would see so many articles, so many literatures over there. So adding a good keyword is the key in order to have great results. So it would be good if you have basic knowledge of how to find articles or literatures in these search engines using the right keywords. The next is interpretation and presentation of research data. Now, writing scientific documents involve review and interpretation of research data. And presentation of these data in text, tables, and in form of graphs is also very important. So therefore, the medical writers should have sufficient knowledge of the research topic and should be able to understand the research design and data so as to interpret and present it to the readers. Presenting data in form of tables and graphs is a skill that we consciously need to develop. Of course, it would be challenging in the beginning, but then as and when we get the hang of it, it will become very easy. Then the last thing about general knowledge is legal and ethical issues. So now this is very important. So sometimes giving truthful and complete information becomes an issue of concern to the medical writers. The opinions might not match. The clinician may want, or the pharmacologist may want medical writer to present data in a certain way, which might indicate in hiding some sort of information. But then as a medical writer, we should be able to keep our foot down always, and we should, and that should not actually stop us from including the negative results of a study. And there's a trick of doing that, of course, but we cannot really hide the negative findings of a particular study. Then, of course, there are copyright issues sometimes, and it's also very important not to indulge in plagiarism. And one should always follow the authorship criteria for manuscripts and respect the journal review process. Sorry. Okay. Sorry about that. I just lost the track of where I
No
was. All
problem.
right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now let's discuss the key attributes of a medical writer. So, what makes a good medical writer? Now, in order to be a good medical writer, as I mentioned earlier, we need to have a strong verbal and written communication skills. And we also need to have great attention to detail because, there's safety data. There's a lot of data that we are handling, and attention to detail is a must. Then we should also be able to interpret the data in an accurate manner. And of course, it's not a single person's job, it's a teamwork. So medical writer has to work with clinicians, pharmacologists, statisticians, and various other key stakeholders in order to produce a quality document. So it's not just one person's job.
Hi, Shivanika. Sorry to interrupt.
Yes, Dr. Raji.
People are saying that slides are blur. Can you make it full screen? It's not full screen, I feel. I'm not
uh,
sure.
it is actually full
It is full
screen.
screen.
Yes, it
Or
is.
maybe the font size is less. Oh, okay, no problem. You go ahead. It's fine.
I'll just try to zoom in if
Yes, yes,
that's
yes. Now,
helpful.
now it's fine. Now it's fine. I think.
Is it
Yeah.
fine now?
Little less.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
Let me
it's
try.
fine.
It's fine?
Yeah, yeah, it's fine
Okay,
now.
okay. Uh, yes, so we spoke about teamwork. Then
Yeah.
grammar. It's also very important to have a strong hold on English grammar, as you know that we will have to write the documents in English. The ability to meet timelines. Now, these, as I told in the beginning, that I would be focusing more on regulatory documents. So, it's the timelines for meeting. The ability to meet timelines is a must. It's a must-have quality for a medical writer because we most of the times have to work on stringent timelines because a regulatory submission is due and we have to finish working on the results as soon as possible. So we should be able to handle that pressure and we should have the ability, therefore, to meet the timelines. And the person should also have good organization skills, and time management is also important. All right. So I think this kind of brings me to the end of my presentation. So I'll just give a quick recap of what we have learned so far. And this is also going to be your take home message. So as you've seen that medical writing is both a science and an art. It requires an understanding in medical science and also an aptitude for writing should be there. Then one has to have a thorough knowledge of specific requirements for different type of medical documents. And one also needs to keep up to date with the relevant guidelines. Now, these guidelines, they keep on changing. So this is mostly not the case with regulatory documents, but of course, the areas which are more dynamic, like clinical trial disclosures and PLSs, the patient lay summaries. So, the guidelines of working on these documents, they keep on changing. So as a medical writer, one needs to keep abreast with the latest guidelines. So, the old guidelines, they keep on getting revised and the new guidelines keep on coming. So it's very important to keep up to date with these relevant guidelines. So the demand for medical writing is growing steadily over the years. And this is also the case in India. And now the pharma and healthcare industry offers a number of job opportunities for medical writers as well. So definitely graduates and postgraduates in life sciences who've got right skills and aptitude can consider taking up medical writing as a full-time profession. So the scope of medical writing is, like I said, tremendous and growing. And, this is also a profession that one can practice either independently as a freelancer or as an employee associated with an organization, depending upon one's experience and liking. So learning medical writing could be beginning of a lifelong profession. So I think with this.
Yes.
I've come to an end of my presentation. So I've added a few references and useful links here, which would help you in further understanding what medical writing is and various other aspects related to medical writing. Yeah.
Right.
So
Okay.
that's about
Thank you,
it. Thank you.
Shivanika. Yes. Yes. Thank you very much. Okay, we will take some
Open to
questions
questions.
if there are.
Maybe I'll just take a minute of pause and have a sip of water while
Yeah,
you
yeah, sure,
guys
sure,
can.
sure,
Yeah.
sure, sure. Um, any questions, guys? Please, you can ask
Ma'am,
your questions.
can you please show the last slide again?
Sure. Just a
Yeah,
second, please.
this one.
You mean this one?
No, that's the reference links.
Okay.
Okay. So wait.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thanks, no problem.
Yeah, Sivanika, your video is not coming again. Okay, it's. I think we have done
One
this.
second.
Now it's okay. I think no need to share the slides,
Okay.
right?
Sorry?
Okay. Any questions, guys?
Yeah.
Guys, I cannot take such questions, please. I think salary related questions are not to put here. I may not be able to take such questions, please. Hmm. Okay, I do not have any questions, for Sivanika right now.
Okay.
But okay, I will take some question from YouTube. Okay, wait. Okay, here also we do not have any question related to the presentation, but I'll try to ask one question because you are not joining our panel discussion.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll ask you the question here itself.
Yeah.
So, just wait a minute. Someone is posting some questions. Ma'am, please give a glance on interview preparations on medical writing. Is it fine for you?
Yeah, sure. So, as long as you are confident in the interviews, I don't think that should be a problem. We all know that you would be starting out your careers in medical writing, and you would be fresh out of college when you start applying for jobs and start giving interviews. So don't worry, just put a brave face, just be confident in whatever you're saying. And of course, if you are specifically planning a career in medical writing, then the links and the references that I've shared could be a good start. And you can just go through all of them and you'll be able to nail the interview. I'm confident.
Okay, someone is asking, do Kynaps hire freshers for medical writing?
Yes, we do. Yep.
Okay.
We do that every year. So mostly it's through campus placement. Not sure whether it has happened this year, but it usually happens every year. So we go to various institutes, top tier institutes like DIPSAR, NIPER, and other institutes, and hire individuals from there. But of course, you can, it's always better to, if you see there's any job opening for freshers, you can also apply through website, or maybe you can just contact me on LinkedIn, and if there's any
we will
vacancy, then
provide
I'll be able to.
we will provide your LinkedIn
Yes.
profile to all of them.
Yeah.
That would be
So
great.
you can anytime reach out to me, and I'll see if I'll be able to help you with that. In case there's any job opening for freshers, I'll certainly be able to help you with that.
Roshnavi have some question. Please go on, Roshnavi. Roshnavi. She has raised some hand.
Okay. Yes, please.
Yes, please. Okay. being in academics as MD pharmacologist, how can I
Mhm.
approach for a freelance medical writer?
That's a little tricky question to answer because if you decide to take up a profession as a freelancer, then of course, initially it could be a bit challenging because people would not know you, and people would not have seen your work. So it would be not easy to build up on that as a fresher. But then I think my advice to you all would be, to get associated with an organization first, because it's a great learning when you work with the organization. It's a great learning, and then maybe after a few years down the line, you can take up freelancing as profession as well. Once you've
Okay, so there are some technical questions. I don't think we should take it. Okay, someone is asking how to handle precise abbreviations of journal names in reference. I think abbreviations of journals you can make it online itself. There are many sites where you can frame a reference as well to cite in the manuscript. Okay. How much marks required in graduation to get the job of medical writing or pharmacovigilance or clinical research? Okay, Shivanika, hello. Hello. Okay, Shivanika is hello. I think we lost connections with her. Wait, I'll just check.
Hello. I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened. I can't hear you, Dr. Adi. Can you hear me? Let me try to join again.
No,
I'm
no, 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 no,
sorry.
no, 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 no,
Yes,
no, no.
I
It's fine.
can
It's
hear
fine. It's fine. It's fine. Actually, my mic
you.
was off, I think.
Okay.
Okay. So the question is, ma'am, I have heard like freshers are not hired in medical writing. Is it true?
No, it is not. No, don't think that way. It's not the
Yeah.
case at all. So, if I have to talk about my organization, so there's a starting level of associates, and we prefer freshers at that level. So, you're most welcome. So, whenever we have a job opening, we are more than happy to consider fresher as well. So, you can feel free to apply on whenever you see a job opening of a fresher at associate level. So that's not the case.
Okay. We have some 27 questions, but I will take only few. Okay. Details on medical writing for post-marketing drugs. Anything like brief introduction, something if you can give.
Post-marketing drugs. So post-marketing would mainly come under medico-legal marketing.
Yeah.
So I think I have briefly touched upon that. So it's kind of medical writing wherein we prepare slide decks or brochures for that are used by sales representatives
Right.
when they are talking about their drugs to the healthcare professionals with the healthcare professionals. So
Okay. Even I am hearing this term first time. How to become an authorized medical writer? What is this?
okay, so there are a few certifications that you are required to do if you are really keen to take up those certifications. So there's one certification that is offered by MWA, and there are other certifications as well. So you can just Google on various certifications that are provided for medical writing, and you would be able to become a certified medical writer when you complete those certifications.
But are these necessary to join a job?
No, not really. I'm not a certified medical writer myself, so that's yeah,
That's what.
yeah.
Okay. Yes. We will provide her contact details, LinkedIn details. So don't worry, guys.
Yeah.
Okay. So one question: do you hire PharmDs for the medical writing?
So yes, we do hire pharmacy graduates as well as life sciences graduates. So,
Okay. That's right, but there is definitely so startup everyone. It is not case. Professors are not hired the CTD. Okay, then next is from the entrance fee of medical writing. Okay, 1 second. I'll just go through the questions. If I feel interested, I'll
mhm.
ask.
Sure.
Mhm. Okay, what are the skills you want to tell us to put in my resume to find a job in a leading MNC? Okay, that is some interesting question.
Oh, well, just be truthful and just talk about the skill sets that you actually possess. So, and if I have to tell you about medical writing, so I think I've covered somewhere in one of my slides that you need to have good communication skills, good hold on grammar. You need to have attention to details, and you should be able to work in teams. Should have good organizational skills. So these are the kind of attributes that we look for in medical writer.
Okay, so now I will ask few personal questions from my side because you are
Mhm.
not able to be there in our panelist session.
Yeah, and I'm really sorry about that. I
No,
have
no,
some
it's
personal
fine, it's
commitments.
fine. I will ask you, being a female medical writer, what's your opinion for those girls who want to pursue their career in medical writing? Is it challenging or conceding?
Girls
Yes,
are born leaders, and
of
so
course.
just go for it. Just go for it. Just be confident. Just carry yourself in style, and you'll be able to nail everything. So this is what my personal mantra in life is. So we
Okay.
rock.
So any challenges for the girls?
No, I do not see any challenge. I mean, I've been in industry for about 12 years now, and I think I can call myself a successful medical writer, and I have created all this myself. And I'm sure if you have got confidence and right outlook, then you would be able to excel not just in the area of medical writing, but in any field that you choose.
Yeah, perfect. So girls, no need to worry. Okay.
Absolutely no need to worry. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So one more question I'll take up for you. What are the mantras to become a successful medical writer? I think you have to
Uh,
repeat some, but yes, we will
yeah,
definitely
I
going to ask.
think it comes with experience. So when we are starting, of course, we a little bit of background knowledge is sufficient. But then, as I mentioned, that one keeps on adding to the knowledge when we actually start uh, working as a medical writer. So so if we are starting with one document type, then of course it will take us some time to get specialized in in writing that particular document. And once we've written, for example, 2 or 3 studies with, let's say, cardiology as a therapeutic area, then we'll get to know so many things related to cardiology. And then the fourth study that we will take up in that particular area would not appear difficult to us. And in any case, we are not, working alone. So we are constantly in touch with statisticians and various other key
Yeah.
stakeholders. So and we all work in collaboration, so it's not a single person's job to create results. Of course, medical writer would ultimately have to create the document, write the document, but then it would happen after collaboration with different stakeholders. And so it becomes very easy when we work with different members or different stakeholders. It becomes easy.
Okay, so one compliment for you. Thank you for being such a bold and open-minded superwoman.
Sir, can I ask a question?
Yes, Raghav, 1 second. I'll take one more question from the chat, then you can ask the question. Okay. So you got a compliment to Shivanika.
Thank you.
Okay, so one more question. I don't think it's relevant or not, but does mark scored in UG or PG matters to become a medical writer?
I'm sorry, could you please repeat the question again?
Does marks you scored in UG or PG matters to become a medical writer?
No, not at all.
Not at all.
No.
Okay,
No.
that's a great, our students will feel better.
Yes, so of course there's a certain cutoff. So you have to score, I think, minimum 55 or 60% in total aggregate, but that's about it. You do not need to be a top scorer in order to nail a job interview or in order to become a successful medical writer. So don't worry about that. I myself was a very average student, and I think I've done pretty well for myself. So
even I feel marks doesn't matter, seriously.
yeah, they do not matter at all.
They do
Yeah.
not matter at all, yeah. Okay, so okay, people are asking, sir, can you ask madam to assist us in the employment in Kynaps in future for the recruitment? Yes, we will
Yes,
definitely be in touch with Shivanika for your recruitment purpose if it is possible. Definitely, don't worry about that. Okay. Yes, now you can go ahead, Raghav, with your question. Okay, Preeti has some question. Preeti?
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
Raghav, yeah, Preeti, please ask your question.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good
hello,
afternoon.
good afternoon.
Ma'am, like you have gone, I mean, you're having a lot of experience in this medical writing. So could you please share some of your experiences, like when you first entered into this medical writing? I mean, some kind of push up to us, like the
Okay.
terminology, or it is kind of more time taking process, stress kind of work. So how did you feel when you just entered into this medical writing?
Okay, so I would have to admit that I did not have any prior knowledge of medical writing when I joined Kynaps. So I've been in this organization for almost 9 years now, and my earlier organization was a site management organization called Excel Life Sciences. And I worked there as a clinical research coordinator. Uh, so a clinical research coordinator is basically a person who assists the principal investigators in conducting the trials at the
Yes.
investigative site. So and then I think I worked as a CRC for about 2.5 years, and then I moved to training because I liked to give presentations and I had a strong hold on ICH GCP at that time. So my boss, he encouraged me to take up training as a profession. So I kind of then tried my hand at training as well when I was there at Excel. And then when I joined Kynap, so I had to basically shift city, and that's when I started looking for other job opportunities, and that's how Kynaps came into picture. When I joined Kynaps, you can say that I was aware of about clinical trials and ICH GCP. So I think that kind of really helped me, because I was coming from a little back. I knew little bit of background, and then I read about it on net. So these days you find all sorts of things available on net. So it was never a problem for me. And as I mentioned, as long as you are able to confidently carry yourself in the interviews, and as long as you have little bit of knowledge on medical concepts and terminologies, that should not be you would be able to nail the interview. That would totally suffice.
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, one more question. Role of analytics and automation in medical writing. Will you tell something about this?
Well, this is completely not my area, so I am aware that there are my colleagues there. In my organization, we have started working on automation, and we are looking for getting into automation in medical writing, and I've got some of my colleagues working in that area. But I don't think automation is going to come as a challenge for us as far as the jobs are concerned, because because we will definitely need medical writers. So automation can help us in setting the templates, and of course there could be some text that is pre-populated, but then I think you need to have that human aptitude or human touch as well. So it's not that it is totally going to become automation driven service in the years to come. So I think medical writers are going to there would not be any dearth of jobs for medical writers, and the jobs would continue to there continue job openings will certainly be there, and that would not be a problem.
Okay, so one more question. I think I should take it. What are the topics or important points we have to look on, and how to prepare before attending the medical writing interview?
I think I've already shared this.
Yes.
I think a number of times now. So.
Yes. So one more question is here. I think our next speaker and panelist Nisawat's already answered, but still I'll ask, what is the hierarchy of designation for medical writer?
Well, that would I would say that that varies from organization to organization.
Yes.
So I can speak for my organization. So the startup level that we have in our organization is of an associate, and then after associate we have senior associate, then senior medical writer, manager, senior manager, associate director, and so on.
Directors, yeah. Okay, I'll just look into the YouTube if we have something. No more questions, I think. Thank you very much, Shivanika, and thank you all. Yes, someone is here. Yep, Raghav, please ask your question.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Hi, good afternoon.
Ma'am, I want to ask that what are the main requirements to apply for the internship for medical writing? So that one can get.
Yes, please.
So that one can get assured that he will get selected for an internship.
Okay, so I think internship is basically a program that CROs don't really offer. That they rarely offer, but of course, it's a program that is offered by big pharmaceutical companies. So maybe you can be on a lookout. You can just be. You can check the social networking sites or LinkedIn regularly, and if there's a requirement, then again that would require an attention to detail. So you should be fast, and you should you just check the company's websites and see if there's any requirement of a fresher or somebody or an internee. So that ways I think you can apply. at various organizations.
Okay, last question from myself. How challenging is this COVID-19 situation for you, Shivanika?
Don't ask. I
No, I
mean, I
mean, in
think
respect
now
to your job.
working, yeah, so I think these are unprecedented times and something that was uncalled for, and no one was prepared for that.
Yeah.
And I think, but now I think working from home has become a new normal for all of us. Like for us as grown-ups or adults, and for kids as well. So there are online classes happening for kids. So everything is now running online, and a little we are at a little advantage here, I would say, because surprisingly, the COVID-19 situation hasn't really affected pharma industry much. You would
Yeah.
see, I mean, I'm surprised to see the market is still open and organizations are still hiring.
Yeah.
And it's, yeah, so
True.
it's really, I mean, it's really, and of course, these are extraordinary times, but I think the advantage to us now is that the organizations have kind of become more flexible, and they are accepting individuals from right where they are. So they do not now. I think for some of the organizations, they do not really require individual to relocate now, and this has. I think significantly, this is a advantage that we have now with this COVID-19 thing. The organizations are becoming more flexible and open-minded, and we are now used to working from home, and we know that it's something that can be that can be actually done. And I was actually very afraid when it used to come to working from home, because I never was able to work from home. I mean, I have of course done that earlier, but then with my daughter around and running from one room to another,
Yeah.
so sometimes it gets very disruptive. So but I think this is a new normal, and yeah, we all are dealing with it, and with it very brilliantly
Yeah.
these days. So yeah.
Okay, so I'll just okay, no more comments. Okay, thank you, Shivanika, for joining us, and it was a great pleasure for all of us to have you on
Thank
board. And
you.
really, we had a very informative session, and very good presentation, and so many questions were asked by the attendees. Yes,
Great.
thank you,
So thank
and
you
thank
so
you all
much
for
for
joining
having
us.
me.
Yes,
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
thank
It was
you.
a pleasure to connect with you all. Thank you.
Okay, we'll
Bye.
see. We'll see you all in 15 minutes for the panel discussion, guys.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you. Bye
Bye.
bye. Bye bye. Thank you. Bye. Yep.
Thank you, ma'am.